No, don't.
Welcome back. Up next, we've got AV versus Mammoth. But before that, we have animal stories. Speaking of animals, we've got two on the couch.
Okay, make it 3. Don't leave him out.
We couldn't drag you away from the dog. Apparently, you're not getting a corgi. You're getting a
British Bulldog, English Bulldog.
Do you really want a bulldog?
Yeah, I really do. They are so cute, man.
They're so
corgis.
scrunched, and don't they like die because they can't breathe?
I think that's pugs and stuff. I think one of the reasons I really want one is Jenna hates snoring, and apparently they all snore.
Yeah.
Don't they also snort when they're tired?
Yeah,
Great partner.
that is so cute, man. Oh.
So to celebrate World Wildlife Day, which happened on Tuesday, this is an animal-themed OPL broadcast. So animal stories, weird things that have happened to us with animals, lovely things. Let's steer away from all the deaths.
I've been sized up by a kangaroo recently.
You have been? Oh, hang on a second. I did forget. Sorry. We do have titles for this, and this is a title sequence that anyone over probably the age of 25 will hopefully recognize, because this is totally wild. Oh my god!
That's so ridiculous.
I had not seen that, so thank you very much. Do you know Totally Wild? Of course you don't. Sorry, you got sized up by a kangaroo.
Yeah, I spent the last few months in mid-northern New South Wales in like a farm town, and we had dogs there. I walked the dogs all the time. And one time I was just walking the dog along the main road. It's a town though, so main road's not very big. And 500 meters along the walk was a giant kangaroo. I'm talking like 6 foot, like unit. And it was maybe 20 meters away.
Yep.
I was like just to the side, like I hadn't noticed it, and suddenly I was like, oh, hang on, it's right there. And I hopped forwards once, and the dog was like, hell yeah, like let's do this. Like I want to take that thing down. Border collie instincts kicked in. My instincts were pick up border collie and run the other way.
Yeah.
So there was this constant fight of a kangaroo just going, what? And my dog like, let me get him, and I'm just like, no.
Are you the guy in the video that beat up the kangaroo?
Did you punch a kangaroo?
The headlock one?
Yeah. Is this? Had you seen that video? Because that's exactly what happened.
This
The kangaroo was going after the dog, and the guy just stepped in.
This kangaroo's twice as big.
And
we don't mess with
those. Was it Geordie?
I think it was Geordie.
Someone was watching that in the gaming house the other day, and I still am just looking at it. I'm like, who punches a kangaroo?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're
It's kind of messed up.
We're a country of freaks.
Talking about animals sizing up people.
Yeah.
I had a rabbit that used to constantly size up Rusty.
Yeah.
So if you enter a rabbit's domain, they will thump.
Yep.
And then they will do, it's called leering. It's where like the Pokemon move comes from. And what they'll do is they'll like thump, run away from you, and then run back towards you at top speed, but then like pull out at the last second. Like it's like an intimidation tactic. But like obviously rabbits not the best fighters. Anyone that's played Quest for Glory 4 knows that. Hopefully over 25-year-old
real callback
reference. Yeah. So Ted used to like go bang, 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 thump, 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 run around a little bit, and then run at Rusty, and then Rusty would just be like, "What are you doing?" And then Ted would just bolt into the backyard.
Why do animals hate you, or at least want to fight you?
I mean, this one was jealous because Jenna was like Teddy's main girl. Anyone who got near Jenna was in trouble. So it wasn't just me in this case, but I was definitely one of the prime suspects to attack for some reason.
Do you boys have a story about an animal trying to fight Rusty?
Trying to fight Rusty.
Oh. That's,
Have you got any animal stories? You have dogs everywhere. I watch your stream and there's like these little dash hounds all over you.
Okay. Well, I use my dogs in a bit of a mean way, but I put them on my stream to cover my champ select. So when I have one tricks, they don't get banned out. Everyone's like, oh, those dogs are really cute. And I'm like, well, that's not really what they're here for. You know, they're at work. Essentially, they're protecting me from getting my games griefed on stream and punching my monitor or whatever. So,
That's lovely.
but outside of that, no, they only eat, premium steaks, Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, only steak.
Only steak.
Well looked after dogs.
Yeah, but well cooked,
The dogs?
Well done.
Yeah.
Only steak, nothing
when
else.
I went to Bali when I was like 10, and we went to the monkey forest, which apparently you're not supposed to do.
The monkey
it's just
forest.
Awful. Because they've completely
Don't get into the politics.
the monkeys. Anyway, so I'm walking through there, and the guide hands me a bag of peanuts. He's like, you can feed the monkeys. And I was like, I don't want to feed the monkeys. And he's like, no, you can feed the monkeys. I'm like, I really don't want to feed them. He's trying to shove the bag at me. My stepdad steps in. He's like, he said he doesn't want to feed them. Like, leave it alone. We then take one step into the monkey enclosure thing. The woman who's now holding them, who's this like American tourist, that takes the bag that I was going to have, a monkey leaps on her head, starts scratching at her hair, and then runs down her arm, bites her hand, grabs the bag, and then jumps over to the tree.
Give me the peanuts and no one gets hurt.
Totally. And I'm just standing there like, I dodged a monkey-shaped bullet because I was supposed to be holding that bag. That monkey could have killed me. I was and still is a frail boy.
Well, we better not let Rusty in the monkey.
All of those monkeys. Yeah, so that's my bad time with animal.
I had a similar thing. So I was in Cambodia and I had a bottle of water, and they say like don't have bottles of water around the monkeys because apparently they steal them all.
Yep.
So I just had a bottle of water in my pocket, and this monkey was real spry and agile, ran up and just knocked the bottom of my pocket, and the water came flying out, caught the water in its like other hand, and then ran off, undid the water bottle with its teeth, and just drank my water in front of me. And I was like, you know what? Not even mad.
No, enjoy the water.
Enjoy the water. Well played. Yeah.
All right, well, if you've got animal stories, please send them in for the next segment. I've already got a bunch from you, and there's some great ones there. But if you do have them, send them into @NickBoy on Twitter or @OPL using the hashtag IamOPL. Your totally wild stories about animals, and we'll read them out next seg. Come on. Totally. You remember.
I know totally well.
It was the shit you had to watch before the cool cartoons came out. All right, it is time.
Get away from us.
We're going into the next game.
We're going into the next game. Yeah, it's all good. It's Avant versus Mammoth. But I'll tell you what, since you're here, you can talk us through the Avant lineup. Read it out.
The Avant lineup.
Yeah.
So we've got Draku in the top lane. We've got Lisa in the jungle. We've got Chaz It Up in the mid lane. Guncrab and API down bot. Beautiful roster.
Beautiful?
Yeah. At least top 2 on the looks. Hey.
Top 2 on the looks. Yeah. There you go. Rusty?
We also have Lisa doing K-pop dancing.
That's true. Top 2 in the looks. Maybe not top 2 in the gameplay.
Maybe not.
You should hear what I say about you guys when you're not on the couch.
Yeah, totally.
Don't get too lippy.
Maybe not top 2 in gameplay, but again, this time is split. Important to see how they've been improving if they have been behind the scenes. And this is one of those games that you look at and you're like, if they don't win this, something's wrong.
Yeah, something is wrong because they're going to be playing Mammoth. Let's take the lineup of Mammoth, and Rusty, you can talk us through who they're facing, looking for their second win.
Sure. They've got Maui in the top lane, Kweku, of course, there, Bass in jungle, Lived mid lane with Mboma and Emelk in bot lane, a man after my own heart, the Bard player.
What do you guys reckon with the roster squad? Amalgan and Boma in for Styled and Nausicaa.
Will it change their results? I'm not sure. In terms of laning prowess, I think the swap was the correct move.
I think it's an upgrade.
Yeah, I agree.
A tad.
Maybe they're sort of more positive in practice. I'm not sure, but hopefully Mammoth, changing up their roster will get them a few dubs.
Not leaking too much, but they flogged us a couple of times in scrims.
Really?
Not bot lane.
All right, well, with that flex, it's time to get into game number 2. It is Avant versus Mammoth, and it's coming up with the Mega Champ Select.
It's our second game of the day as we enter the Macca's Champion Select. Avant Gaming in blue taking on Mammoth. Looking to see if, as the boys in the couch highlighted, that bot lane difference will be enough to try and take down this opponent here today.
Yeah, now we have seen Mammoth with 1 win in the split so far, and that was actually playing the Bard for ML, who was known as a Bard one-trick. Played in the Oceanic Challenger Series, and it was pretty much perma-ban from him as well. So at a certain point, you do learn to play other champions. And that's where we're at, I think, with him. Well and truly into his career as a player. Definitely has some depth of champion pool, though he is still, as I said, a man after my own heart with that one-trick champion there. Looking forward to see what he will play up against Guncrab, not Violet, and Api down in bot lane.
Yeah, there's always that wonder as to who Avant draft into that bottom lane. Guncrab pretty happy with the Aphelios. I'm always going to remember that time that he flash engaged to try and initiate a team fight. Definitely a bit of spiciness in that one there. Mammoth going to open up with a set blindly, start things off there. and gonna lock in for Bass with that Gragas switch. Also a great champion of his. He's shown us multiple times.
And I always say this, but where there's Gragas, there could be a Yasuo. You have to wait to see where AV go in responsive with the champions of their own. Lisa has been a very good Lee Sin, though there has been that one hiccup that I'll never forget, because it was honestly just so funny when he flash kicked someone away and then missed the Q. But otherwise, he's been a very good Lee Sin player, and is definitely a force to be reckoned with when he gets the pick. Though the matchup against Gragas is kind of 50-50 in the way that Gragas can also cancel your Q at any time. Perhaps a support to be seen here.
Yeah, the man on your screen there, Chaz, the mid laner, has definitely flexed a few different champions this split so far. It's been a big driving force when they have been able to find wins in their games. Comforts for the jungle so far, but are they looking to lock in their bot lane? They're hovering the Nautilus, and they will secure it.
Yeah, Nautilus for Appy, so pretty strong on bottom lane, generally speaking. Of course, they could have gone for a solo laner there. They did know that one of the matchups would be set, but that isn't the direction they choose to go. Of course, Draco's one of those players that might just lock himself in an Aatrox if he wants to be weak side. So this, to me, is an indicator that they want to play to give Draco a little bit of priority in some respect, I think, no matter what it is. It may also just be that they want to save both solo laners to give Chaz the outright counter, if they can at all. But now we're going to the next ban phase, AV. They very easily start banning supports.
See where this ban phase goes, with mid lane still open for both sides. We're going to look to try and deny some top lane matchups to make Set's life a little bit easier, starting with the Gangplank.
Yeah, Gangplank taken off the board. Other top laners, like mentioned, there is the possibility of that Aatrox still, with Ornn already gone and Pantheon removed. The options exist, but they aren't all optimal.
LeBlanc removed. Liv's most played champion this split so far. Actually in tied with his Syndra play too.
LeBlanc and Cassiopeia taken off, and especially weird that Chaz is banning LeBlanc of all people.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder where he's going to go with his champion of choice. When you look at the composition they'd have, I personally look at that and think that an Orianna would not go amiss here. Would actually make their composition pretty deadly with team fighting. And then Draco could pick whatever he would like. If he wants to be a Fiora and split push, be a Fiora and split push. I don't really care. They've also gone for the second
They
rotation.
have gone for that, yes. Well, you
yeah.
called it. He's definitely played it, and it would have done pretty good in this roster.
Often you'll see Gragas Yasuo locked in just because it can be flexed with your bot lane, or the Yasuo can be flexed with top lane, or whatever it may be. It was possible from Mammoth this time, but of course, banned for safety measures here by AV, just in case. No support bans from them overall when it was entirely possible.
The only other support that ML's played so far is that Rakan. So still not diving too deep into that champion pool, not showcasing us exactly what he has. Now this is interesting if they lock it in Volley Bear.
Yeah, the Volley is actually a notoriously good pick into something like a Rakan, but because there's Nautilus there, that would be flexing Nautilus to presumably mid lane.
Yep.
I think the only other team to do that so far in this split is Mammoth, and they lost with it. So clearly not going to be the case this time. Chaz is just going to go towards the Syndra, not the Orianna that perhaps I was hoping for.
Heavy priority here from Avant to try and limit down that hero pool that Liv has.
What do they pick for Draco?
Wow, and that as well. So the only champion that remains from what he's played so far for Liv is Rumble. Everything else has been banned or taken away.
Into a Syndra. You've got the Vladimir, perhaps, if that's a champion that he does play. You've seen Zeds here and there. You've got a Gragas jungle, so it's possible. Echo's another pick that has been okay into it, or you just go, you go Echo, apparently. I'll stop saying other counters.
Look, Rusty, you don't know what you're talking about, apparently.
Not at all.
Liv just wants to play the Echo. He wants to make things happen. Avant, typical Avant identity, aggression, damage, ability to lock people out, ability to kick people out too.
You know, there has to be a very specific routine with Kweko and putting his headset on, I've just realized. He'd have to actually like start at the front, like slowly move his head backwards.
Adjust the hair,
push the hair back. You don't want getting any hair in that headset.
Natural white noise.
Don't think that's how hair
That's
works.
not how it works, but that's what we're going to say. 15 seconds on this one, Rusty, as we get ourselves ready for this game. And Which draft are you looking at immediately and thinking these guys have a clear condition, a clear idea in mind to establish a victory today?
I think that it's just easier to play AV's composition. And so if I was comparing both of these teams who are hanging around towards the bottom of the table right now, then I would always say AV. But there is obviously some nuance in that, because while Mammoth's composition is harder to perhaps play, they still are a decently strong comp.
Yeah.
Set is something that can just run away with a game, and definitely is always going to be something to look towards. And a Rakan, well, it doesn't always have the best experiences. You get one good engage off and suddenly the game shifts in your direction. Same thing with Echo hitting a W, or Gragas hitting a flash body slam. Suddenly the game shifts, and if they get ahead, it is quite hard to deal with. And if I was Mammoth, I would be looking at mid lane and saying, get the kills there, snowball the Echo. And one of the reasons that this is such a good matchup for Echo into Syndra is because if she presses E to push you back, as you're dashing forwards with your own E, you override that. You win that battle, and you're on top of the Syndra, and she has no disengage then. Suddenly she has to flash, but you've already hit Electrocute. Bam, you win lane. If she ults, you ult. Bam, counted. Like, there's a lot of little things there that help the Echo in this matchup. And I think having Gragas to pressure around that side of the map would mean the most.
It'd be interesting to see if that skill expression does come online. Lived has gone for the teleport. As you say, they both have got the Electrocute. But I'm looking at Mammoth's composition so far, and there's a fair bit of displacement, a fair bit of lockdown. Depending on how things go on. Misfortune or have a good time. It's seizing the moment with the bullet time or just chasing people down.
But one thing to consider, of course, is that Aphelios is still just a really ridiculously strong champion. Gunkrab's going to be the recipient of that one as well. But we saw last game what is possible from the likes of a Misfortune once you hit those team fights. That is a pretty big difference here that's possible. When you speak about ease of execution, Aphelios harder to understand generally. Misfortune very simple in the way that you press your buttons. You're not reliant on having certain weapons, you know, for certain situations.
Yeah.
You just press R, and anything that gets hit by a bullet takes that damage. You couple that with an Echo Stun, a Rakan engage, and a Set ultimate, and suddenly you actually do have the makings of that fantastic team fighting that we were looking towards. Once again, both teams probably are looking for those team fights. As Draco's going to hold the wave first, reset the minion aggro from the melees, and try and build up a freeze.
Now, speaking of this jungle matchup, Kweku is going to get the assistance over the Bass. Both junglers starting top side, so you'd imagine there's going to be a priority of them hitting level 3 first, possibly going out to that bot lane to try and get those lanes online. Do you think there's a major breakaway for, you know, Bass getting that small little assistance by Kweku?
So the difference here between both of them is I think it's just better to be at least in the Nagraga starting on this side of the map. Red's pretty punishing with your health loss, whereas Elise Sin, just by having the W, will always stay healthy. This is also a full level 3 clear on blue side from Lisa after doing these wolves, which puts him in a fantastic position to either go straight to the other side of the map and contest, gank, or just clear his red side very quickly. So this is my favorite clear for Elise Sin. I think he's always going to be in a pretty comfortable position. But Bass got through the hard part of that camp from the little bit of assistance that the set gave him. You know, once you start the Raptors, you don't actually lose any HP by having the talisman there. You get as much back as you deal. You can just see the differences in tempo, really.
Yeah.
Lee Sin always going to be fast having the execute on cue.
Lisa going to be able to get ahead in this one as Bass is forced to reset back. Having got Predator, wants to get that boot online as quickly as possible. She does. Consumable pots there as well. And a control wall, so we can try and establish some control over a potential early Drake, which they have the ability to freely rotate into.
And so far, while we spoke towards the strength of this matchup being an Echo, it's not always going to just happen in that perfect situation that we spoke about. Syndra has a lot of Q poke, a lot of W harass. It's very hard to play around unless you are looking for aggressive trades, and Echo not one to look for those until he's level 3. So this is that first turning point potentially in the lane. But as you just saw, as you've just made note towards, they've spotted where Bass is. Lisa's level 4. He's in a pretty comfortable position to protect mid lane. So it's hard to play super aggressive.
And that all came off the fact that Avant have found priority in this bottom lane. They were able to get that deep vision down so they can control and understand. Well, you know, with them starting top side, are they going to look for a gank in that bottom end? We've been pushed into our tower. Surely he's on the hunt. And that just gives not only assistance to bot lane, but also to, you know, Chaz to try and not feel like he's going to get dived upon by this Echo.
Yeah. So now we start to hit, as you can see, that turning point in the lane. Bit of extra tempo. It doesn't actually mean that the Scuttle Crab will go over to Bass, however, as he is on the other side of the map. Very well done here by the Gragas, but far behind tempo. Slow game. And really, when you look at slow games like this, as far as starts go, we're only 4 minutes in, AV are the team that notoriously want to be aggressive.
Yeah.
So this is one of those games where you do look at Lisa and say, is Elise in? Very easily could gank, but it seems like he's gone for that full farm, full clear approach to the game, which is not too unlike him, but very unlike AV.
That has been a talking point in recent weeks about Avant being such an aggressive team in the early game, but not being too decisive of what they want to do. Well, they've been decisive right now. Lisa showing the jungle presence this time around, instantly forces out the flash from Kweku. That's quite big because he was pretty close to level 6.
Yeah, step 1 for the Lee Sims, get a flash off. Now farm towards level 6, top lane is going to be a pretty difficult place to be Kweku. In saying that, Kweku at 6 can just press ult himself. So, still a delicate lane to gank. But it's good to see him being very active on the map, though he hasn't shopped. He needs to. He's going to have a whole host of money, actually. I wonder if he goes straight to the Tiamat build.
Interesting.
I give that one a 2 out of 10. Don't do it again.
Wishes that one wasn't seen on camera.
If he was afraid of Bass, then he's going to find out that he shouldn't have been.
It's the Predator situation, and Boma has no health. He has no mana. Instantly forcing out the flash, and all the summoners actually from the Avant bot lane. The pressure was there.
Yeah, instantly everything used. The Gragas himself does flash, however, so was hunting for the kill, not just the summoner spells burn. So good job from AV on the disengage. They'll keep themselves happy overall. But like mentioned in top lane, with a summoner burn, it does mean that the repeat offense is possible, and ganking this lane now a whole lot easier. And they are very killable when you've got a Rakan with flash still up.
An explosion of pressure taking place all across the map right now. No summoners is going to make this dragon fight when it does come across, even the Rift Herald, if that is the idea in mind instead. Much more interesting to observe. We keep our eyes on mid lane, where double door ins for Chaz for the survivability, the baby rod of the ages, if you will. Whereas Liv has one idea in mind. He wants to get kills. He wants to exert that pressure. No boots.
Oh, I mean,
Dark
he's
Seal.
also... Yeah, he's gone Dark Seal because he's got Time Warp Tonic in his runes and has the Corrupting Potion.
Yep.
So he just wants to increase that potion healing.
The mobility that you get from that as well.
Pretty stock standard stuff there for Echoes. He's gone for Domination as his primary, Inspiration secondary. A lot of the time you'll see minion dematerializer from someone like an Echo, and the purpose of that is to be able to press Q and clear range minions instantly with it.
Forcing Chaz out of this lane again. And we'll now decide. I'll stick around a little bit longer. Very low on that mana pool. Be quite hungry to get that lost chapter online. Lisa is hovering around, ready to collect the XP if needed, but we'll get a brace, be able to pick up blue buff, and ideally get level 6.
Kweku hunting in top lane, looking for those kills. One of the biggest strengths of Set is being able to push past the minion wave to threaten, because it's a stun then if you're able to push past the minions. I think it's just the Demolish proc that he was really after there. There's still some shield up for Dragku if he trades. Overall, just a lot of tension building, not a whole lot of action happening. Bass also getting 6 before Lisa here. This thing started to slow down.
Well, hang on a minute, because there's going to be a bit of action in the bottom lane. And Mel!
Oh, that was close.
Nearly caught by the range mark of that sniper.
He's got too many chakras, you can't fight him.
The Hawk max range, the passive, that'll do it. Appy with the disengage, using his ultimate as double summoners come from top lane. They say bottom lane is where we reside, and both of them instantly disengage. Avant finding the priority for the first 8 minutes of this game, and then it wants to get first blood.
And then Bass looks bot lane, but Lisa says absolutely not and puts a stop to it. Now you expect AV reset, happy with the situation, keep Dragku bot lane if they wanted, and flip the map towards the other side. Maybe go towards the Herald play. Drake is still up. For an early Cloud Drake, hard to do without some reinforcements from your teammates.
The set teleporting on down. They're going to commit to this one. They've got numbers to support it.
Yeah, so Mammoth will choose to do the Drake. It won't be contested. They'll lose a lot of tempo for this, because that could have been a reset. You can see the wave building top lane. Most likely just be completely missed if they're able to crash that one in. Just really tests the movement speed of a champion like a LeBlanc to see how quickly you can get there. But still, what's lost for that? You know, it's an extra wave bot lane. It's an extra wave top lane worth of time. It's an extra minion or monster taken in the jungle for the Lee Sin. You have to see that translated to something. Whereas Mammoth, against that flow, very well done. They get themselves the objective on the back end of losing a support.
Could have been a bit of a different story if Melg was level 6 with the charm to try and turn things around. You saw him look to try and leash a little bit of Echo's XP in the mid lane before. Still hungry for it. Forced to go topside to clear out that lane and push it away for that rotate. And Avant are going to take that moment to start off the Rift Herald themselves. So 1-for-1 trade, it would seem, at this stage on the objectives.
They're going to just confirm that it is being done. No steal there from Baz. And Lisa not going to take that Herald because, of course, he is a Lee Sin and wants to have the ward hops. So he'll give that one over to Appy, the most likely member to be where the macro play is going to happen anyway.
Fair chunk of damage now starting to come out of Syndra. Lives. Got the blue buff online, but he needs the health mainly.
Yeah, not really using the W aggressively, just copping the trade there. Like mentioned, it's one of those matchups where if the Syndra's able to just poke you down, then it feels bad to make the trades. It becomes risky. But if Echo gets on you first, has outright control of the lane. Still only 1-0.
Very quiet at this stage, just waiting for that moment to happen. Lisa hunting, will be spotted out by that ward on your screen right now. Mass is going to respond in the top lane as well. The charm now will come out from Guyan Crab, who will have to use both his summoners again. The pressure that this Gragas emits, it might not work out to be kills, but it definitely works out the pressure in the form of summoners.
And Lisa just straight up misses the Sonic Wave on a target that was knocked up or stunned. That's not what you like to see. Plate will be given over in mid lane as well to Liv, as Chaz was the one moving. And now there's Kweku hunting, perhaps. Of course, we'll just be spotted out here by Chaz.
Gold is dead even.
He got it as well.
Not much separating these two teams at this stage. 10 minutes in here, Rusty.
Now, it's hard to have separation when things aren't really being done.
Waiting for that moment to take place, waiting for that aggression out of this Echo, who's just copping it right now. There's the recall, as you highlighted, which can just completely negate what Chaz can do. Very low on mana, forced to respect, as Lisa is always looming around.
Yeah, Liv pretty much wins that trade, but it does seem like Chaz with the teleport does just want to reset anyway and teleport back, so not too big of a deal in the end. Liv just showing off those mechanics that you expect to see in the matchup. As Herald summon top lane, very early I will say, just to get the gold on the plate it seems, definitely not to break that turret, and Liv will teleport to answer.
He will indeed, but the members of Avant are still hanging around looking for a potential dive, knowing that he doesn't have his ultimate. Mid lane is pushing right now, Death Realm using the bottom lane, no slam dunk just yet, and this is the patience, the destruction that can come across. He dodges the mace, that's huge, but if he comes back in for an auto,
he kind of just pressed the face breaker that Ian brings him into melee range. So they do get the kill. Draco gets cancelled.
He finds vengeance. Getting Mboma on the board there. You dodge the mace, you dodge the kill.
And all of that pressure that was getting placed near mid lane will resume once again.
Echo gets dive top lane as well, and that opens up this tower, so Avant find 2. Mammoth only find 1.
Flash forwards by Liv. Desperately looking for the kill, I suppose. Didn't have the ult, right?
Didn't feel confident under that tower, I guess. Tried to go for the style play.
I guess he just consigned himself to death, but like I said, maybe I can trade, this is worth it. And if he does trade, it is worth it. But
absolutely.
Like, I mean...
Well, the Hextech items are online now for those mid laners. GLP for Syndra. Proto Belt for Lived. Shoot utility. And Lisa, you're missing Sonic Waves. You're stealing buffs.
I'm actually my job as a commentator, Skibby, is to usually speak about everything that's happening with words, but I'm steadily losing my words.
It's very early in the day,
game.
and you're already tilted, Rusty.
It's not tilt, it's just, I suppose the word would be flabbergasted.
Well, Mammoth with that first Cloud Drake are going to start things off now. On the Infernal, Chronosphere going to be used as a zoning tool as Liv once again looks for a target. It is a Nautilus, not ideal. Drake will fall on down, and the smite doesn't get it. It's actually Kweku who lands the last uppercut to steal that one away for his team.
Yeah, no Lisa nearby, no damage there from AV to actually respond to that one and make the trade. The second Drake of the game does go over to Mammoth. Only 2,000 gold really separating these teams. And as the game continues to scale up, the one worry that I would have for AV is the 1-3-1. The side threat that is capable from Mammoth once they get an echo to 2 items. Particularly if he goes Lichbane or you know, as a third item after the Zonius, it gets even worse. Though I would say in a game like this, you wouldn't be afraid of going for a Zonius.
Very impressive once he hits that point of the game. Can buy a lot of time for the rotation.
And saying that, I do feel like as the game does go, Dragcoop becomes more of a threat to deal with. And we'll see if he goes towards the Nash's Tooth build, though, which is very much the duelist's Mordekaiser build. Whoever you take to the Death Realm, your goal is to murder them. Means that he becomes a serious threat in the side lane himself.
Claim their stats and utilize them. Leandri's online right now. Trinity full 4 sets, so both hitting those first 2 major power spikes. 80 carries are working towards it, but it will be Gunkrab with a 25 CS lead on his counterpart to find the Essence Reader Thirst.
Yeah, but with the kill there for Mboma, generally they would have the same amount of gold through the CS and the kill average. Of course, you have to look at turret plates as a difference there, and there was some extra for the Aphelios. We kind of resume normal farming in Australia lanes. There's a lot of setup that has kind of been happening on the rest of the map. A lot of wards that start to get placed down. It's turning those wards into something meaningful where things have been going a little bit miss.
But just look at the map right now, Rusty. There's only 1 control ward in the Dragon Pit. Apart from that, it's all lit up blue. Avant know where you are, and they're definitely just freely rotating into the enemy's red buff, scouting and looking for kills.
Yeah, they have a Syndra, they have a Nautilus, they have a Aphelios and a Lee Sin. If you want the champions to make those picks, they're pretty good at doing it. Hard to pick an Echo though. Hard to pick a Gragas. He just ults you away or body slams to safety. Hard to kill a set.
There it goes again. One ultimate for another, negating each other.
That lane is a lot about health though, and Chaz was the one sitting with more health, so has a bit of extra threat. Mid lane being threatened.
See, the idea was to try and get that Rift Herald down, but Bullet Time will say no to that one. Out comes the displacement with the cast down now. Dragku going into the Death Realm with Kweku, looking for that 1v1. He doesn't hit the mace. And Mordekaiser becomes a bit of a weak one after that. Now comes the engagement follow-up. Massive stun from Chaz to delay that chase up. He's in trouble though, forced to burn the flash. The milk jumps in. Both teams searching for that kill. Both teams unable to find it.
Yeah, an absolutely brilliant disengage there from Chaz, but the follow-up from Mammoth does at least force the summoner spells from him. Bass was the one who finds the flank, gets the engage off in that, and that was a brilliant cast from him to be able to start the fight in the first place. So once again, Mammoth, a little bit extra goes towards their favor. The 2,000 gold difference just shrinks a little bit. You can see those moments starting to build for them. Though I do think he may have, and I may be wrong because it was hard to see, may have just body slam flashed over his target.
Let's catch it here as we start up the replay with the bullet time to initiate.
Yeah, it was a flash from Gunkrab actually that dodges it, so that was nice. And then of course a nice cast bringing Appy in, and Stopwatch just buys time for the rest of his team, maybe for Dragku, but the Q misses and he just has to walk away. And then Chaz comes in with the disengage here. Just stuns them all, and it was during a Proto Belt advance from Liv, so great stuff there from Chaz, keeping his team alive.
Bowman now with the completed item, but Avant finding priority once again in these lanes. Lise has been hanging on to this Rift Herald for such a long time. The guy just wants to get some plates, but there's no plates left because we're past the 40-minute mark. He wants to pick up a tower. He wants to open up this map that much more. A flash hook from Appy. He's got confidence. Bullet time still up. It's reset.
They confidently found a rock.
They may look to use it again, and Bowman's hanging on to it for as long as he can, waiting for that teleport to come through. The damage is done, but the tower survives barely.
Yeah, no one going back in with the Herald to try and just poke the tower down. Too many people from Mammoth start collapsing, and speaking of,
Dragku's in trouble right now. He's going to get suppressed to start things off with. Instantly into the Death Room to buy himself some time. Can the team help him? Can the team come in? He's running to the outskirts. He needs his team to try and live, but he's just going to get clapped as Appy jumps in. It's a double kill for Kweku. as he does what Set can do. Gunkrab only able to find one.
And Kweku actually times his face breaker with the Mordekaiser roll perfectly to lock him in place, as now they go again on a Chaz, and he's just dead.
Indeed, he's just gone. That's when Liv can pop off. He can find it in those exposed situations to put your chasing members down, but Kweku's had enough. He drags them in, and he claps them down. Shut down here. As Bass is able to get himself on the score sheet now. A flawless game from him so far.
Yeah, Mammoth actually wrestle back control in this game. 19 minutes in, it's their third Drake. They're on soul point, and it's a mountain soul at that. Once they eventually take that one down, and we'll see this fight again, because Kweku finds his target, locks Dragku in place, and while Dragku does get the ultimate off onto Baz, and actually does a whole lot of damage, he's just going to use the cast to push him away. And then look at Kweku here, because the timing, absolutely impeccable. And then even though the Aphelios comes in, Chaz hits the big stun as well, and they manage to get something back as they lock down ML. There's still too much going in the way of Mammoth here for a re-engage, and this is the strength of that Echo coming through. Gragas using the Q to scout the bush. And then Liv kind of just runs away. He could be helping the team perhaps, but was looking for the flank onto Lisa. And 3 people, all they really need to lock down Aphelios. Mammoth are doing it.
I feel like it was a bit of an awkward situation really for Dragku to walk in there and then say to his team, I need you to come in, kind of baiting them into their own demise, if you will. Mammoth take those, and Mammoth will now even up the gold score once again. It was even for the first 10 minutes. We had a 2k disparity. Avant favored. But a first true showing of a skirmish, a glimpse of what a team fight can deliver. And Mammoth now sitting on soul point, very happy with all the options available to them.
The scary thing for me is that soul point, more than anything else. You know, with the goal being even to Mountain Soul is a significant difference in strength. Because here we go again.
We do indeed.
You're going to have to tank the turret for that one.
He's going to look for this one, takes one turret shot, negates it with his shield. Both say, well, we don't have enough damage in the pocket just yet.
Both wondering why that happened.
You've called it a head-scratching series. It's
What?
I think that's case number 4, if we're talking Spawn language.
Case study number 4. Head scratching.
Turret will
Predator
fall on
used.
down.
Oh.
The bullet time is the use of that one. Once again, the cast, the split members apart, and Boma finds one. It's a trade so far, but Set gets amongst it. Both the carries of Avant are bleeding, and they are dead. Now, Appy, the next target in their eyes. Mammoth see blood. They see reds. And they are the ones now in the driving seat. Patience rewarded, 20 minutes in here.
Yeah, they win the trade. They break the mid lane outer turret. Mammoth are starting to build themselves a lead. It's not just going to be the one turret that falls here, it's 2. They have full control of this game. Bass is putting in some serious work on this Gragas. Even if the combo's slow, it's still hitting, and that's what matters.
Members are being split apart and making light work for the likes of an Echo and a Set to chase up on here. The flash body slam to start things off, and then the cast.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of a second to walk forwards there, and Lisa just comes in and annihilates Bass. But at the same time, you have to look at the cost of that. You know, pushing both carries towards his team. That's perfectly fine. If you're Bass, you take that trade. Now working towards his Zonias. He'll live next time.
That is his identity in this game. And he's, as I said before, executing it fantastically. Soul potential available in just under 2 minutes. Vision right now from Avant's side, heavily around this Baron. They can't afford to give that up, otherwise all their conditions to try and get themselves back in are lost.
Not having that flash could hurt a little bit though for Baz, in terms of getting those engages off himself. I think now you'd be looking towards ML and saying he's the one that needs to be the engage. Has the flash himself.
Yep.
Just waiting for that Rakan ultimate. So when you take stock of the summoner spells from the side of Mammoth, teleport. Oh, hang on.
It lands this
Right,
time. Appy doesn't find a rock, but he found a Melg, and that's a hard target to try and take on out. Dragku going once again for the death from onto Mbombo, who is kiting him around, playing Ringa Rosie, buying so much time for his team to respond with a nice effort with the bullet time, patting Dragku down to half, but the fight is taking place in the Dragon Pit, now towards the lip of this jungle. Lisa low, heal comes out clutch from Gunkrab. Surprising that not many more members fell in that exchange, but Liv is on the flank.
Yeah, he's super flanking right now.
No, he has no one to survive with. He's going to just jump in and clap Drag, who plays and flirts with that Chronosphere as well.
I mean, he's doing it. He has the possibilities here to make it happen again.
Oh my gosh, the recall as well. Nearly connecting with Chaz.
Making it look easy here, Lived on the Echo, showing his mastery of the champion. Gets not just one kill, but almost gets a second onto Chaz. And gets out with his life intact. 25 seconds till the Drake. And they come out on top in that trade again.
He's got the Lich Bane online. You wonder whether it be this or a rush towards the Zhonya's. Well, Zhonya's is the next one in there, but the fact that he's this far behind and the rest of his team is still in the river.
Yeah, I mean, Echo can go back 4 seconds in time, so if he wanted to, he could have disengaged at some point. He could have walked through mid lane, honestly, because there's no turrets there to stop him. But he finds his opportunity. Control ward in the correct position. And then he finds Chaz as well. There was a chance that Q2 actually hit him on the response. As here we go, the Soul Point Lived at it again.
This is the moment. Liv needs a little bit more time to get that chrono break up right now. I'm talking 5 seconds. Will he get that chance? No, because Lisa gets deleted. Avant have no smite. This is up to chance right now as the Drake falls down to half. What is the decision making?
Oh.
It's talking about bullet time. Death Realm on cooldown. They can't do anything. They can't remove Bass, but they can't remove their chances of winning this game because Mammoth have Soul Point online and they are getting kills. Only Chaz remains, and it doesn't even matter.
That's 4 kills, so Baron's on the cards for them here if they would like. Liv can recall, teleport back into the fray as well, and suddenly...
Wow.
It's not just a 2,000 gold lead for Mammoth. They have accelerated this game. They are snowballing themselves to potentially their second win from the OPL.
What a fantastic performance coming out of these guys here today. Soul Point now, with the Baron soon to follow. Everybody, I should imagine they're going to slow down the kill on this one to try and give Kweku it. He's up in 6. Everybody will have this Baron buff, and then they can look for that final team fight to get that second dub of the season.
Easily secured, all members get it. No teleports from the side of Mammoth available as they'll set up after they get this Baron. We'll see the fight here first because Lisa goes for the flash kick towards the rest of his team. And while he's flash kicking them, wow, the rest of his team's not looking at him at all, and they weren't prioritizing that target whatsoever. The Kweku goes over the wall and says, yes, please. And then Bowman just one-taps Dragku with his ultimate. Well, the Dragon's secured. From the moment they get that first kill, and it's onto the jungler, they were never going to stop the Drake from going down, but they still tried. And just by pressing forwards that little bit extra, you know, it's saying that this is the objective we have to stop them from getting, they ultimately lose almost the game from it.
It's a rough laning phase for Lived. He was getting out-poked, but as that mid-game's come around and as those fights towards the neutral objectives have come online, he has exerted so much pressure, just giving his team so much freedom to say, you have to come to us, and Avant almost feel paralyzed.
I think right now the only thing that AV really have going for them is the strength of their carries. They've still got 3 items on the Aphelios. You know, if he gets a team fight off, it's entirely possible that he puts on some serious work. So he is running the Gravitum Cannon. It's not going to be the maximum damage output. He doesn't have the chakrams there by any means.
Could be quite important in a situation like this where the siege begins to try and take down some inhibitors, locking people in place with a double route to follow up from Appy as well. Then an isolation that Chaz or Lisa can then get a kill on towards. We're going to see how it starts up as a split goes between mid and bot side, opening up these inhibs.
Yeah, they're not using any side lane pressure too massively here, Mammoth. They're actually pretty much grouped in like a 3-2 setup, which is probably the best option for them, given that they don't have teleports to go top lane. And the pressure's working, because if AV aren't fully grouped, their opponents are just too strong, honestly, and they'll start to force those turrets anyway. You can see it's a 2v2 in bot lane, and they can protect the cannon so the turret's falling. And in mid lane, the exact same thing. So AV are trying to move between as 5, but it's just not working.
The turret will now fall on down the dragon here from Dragku, who then gets met with a bullet time. Instantly the depth charge connects. 2 ultimates to negate that one, but a beautiful flash in from Bass. He says hello with the cast. Boy, oh boy. What can Chaz do? A fantastic flash, I'll tell you that much. As Emil nearly had his number. The lockdown with the ultimate. Gunkrab will get one, but will it be enough? That is the question we're going to find out in this situation here. As Lisa down to 20%. Bot inhibitor remains, but mid lane is busted.
The last second of what looked like a red buff for Gunkrab and expired just after the kill. was enough to net them that. And unfortunately for Baz, while he's been having a pretty good game in terms of the engages that he is finding, that cask was way too long and didn't knock any of them back into the team, which could have actually just ended the game potentially if that was enough to get those kills. Chaz able to trade flashes once again with ML to keep himself alive, but he would rather be the Rakan in that situation, as well as now Lived has a very easy life picking off targets, knowing they have no flash.
This game isn't over just yet, Rusty. 2 minutes, and Elder is an objective to contest, spawning out quite nicely. A 40-second buffer between Nats and the Baron, actually a minute, sorry. So there's a fair chunk of time where they don't have to do that dance and feel like they are losing out. We highlight once again Liv, now 10 stacks in that Dark Seal, has now completed the Zonias as well, massively ahead of what Chaz has at his arsenal.
And you know, against lower ranked teams, generally speaking, you know, losing one inhibitor and having it be the mid lane inhibitor is fine, especially when there is no major objective to contest, because that could just be time spent giving extra farm to your carries where they're not getting it, right?
Yeah.
So you have to look at Mammoth in situations like this and say, how are you going to play the map out? Mid lane priority is obviously going to be a given, even though the supers do that for them, because you need to try and keep AV at bay and look towards getting kills in the jungle and pressuring AV into doing something. Don't just let them sit around and do nothing and just farm in mid lane.
Mammoth are pressuring them in the mid lane to make sure that they don't try and split towards top and bottom. Gunkrab now does have the QSS online as well, so he can try and emit the amount of damage he just did in that last team fight and not get locked down in CC. He is a beacon of light for this team right now.
It's a deep flank.
Liv looking for the one.
They don't walk themselves into the choke point here, AV. They're very hesitant, and rightly so. Walking into an Echo could be just death. He's waiting for the next mid wave to spawn. This is the last wave before the Elder Dragon does spawn.
Discipline for both teams right now. Gunkrab nearly ever so close. Defram instantly coming out on towards Liv, so he can't one-shot. 7 seconds of him away. That's Gunkrab who flashes away. He's not putting out any damage right now. Liv with the chrono break back on in, and then Boma's the first one to pick up the kill. No smite again. Will it be necessary? Because if they can get a convincing team ace, they can just end the game. Avant scurry away like ants, going every different direction. And Kweku says, you hesitated for one moment, I bring you in and I break your face.
That's all it takes to take them down. Kweku gets the second kill of that fight, but the first one was the jungler. And so the Elder Dragon spawns, and it's jungler versus no jungler, and all of the health bars of AV mean they limp away just barely. This will just be secured. Bowman not even going to help him. Not even going to consider it.
Elder is online. Lisa has just respawned. Gunkrab up in 15. They're going to go for the reset, is Mammoth.
Yeah, run that straight to the Baron. We'll see this fight again as Dragku knows the fight is on and immediately tries to get rid of the Echo from the equation. Does decently well trading one-on-one, but then of course Echo can end it with an ult of his own and suddenly he's back to full health, and that wasn't worth it. No flash from Bass. If he had that, Gunkrab would have been instantly dead there. And then Gunkrab just turns back, wants to have an auto attack. Could have kept running, but wanted that auto, and that was all it took. Kweku had to flash up, and suddenly there's another kill.
Greed is not always good. In situations like that, that is for sure. It cost him dearly.
Code.
Exactly, that's where I was going with it. You can see a massive difference between jungle and top this side. Mammoth are having a steal. Kweku definitely evolving as the split has gone on.
I would say from last week, including this game today, he has looked like a different player.
Really has.
But we heard that from Mammoth themselves, you know, after their first victory. They had the interview and they said, we're taking it a lot more seriously now. I think that's evidenced in how they've been playing this game out. They've got themselves 8k ahead, comprehensive control of objectives around the map. AV not really finding any opportunities.
Mammoth are gearing up for a raid boss right now. The raid boss is the Nexus, and they've got Mountain Soul, they've got Elder buff, Baron buff, they have everything under the sun to say that we are taking those Nexus turrets whether you like it or not.
And they're doing that run it down mid until the game ends approach. Now there is pros and cons to this. The pro is that they can kill people very easily with how strong they are, and it pressures a lot of teams to just stay mid themselves. So no one really farms side lanes and you just stay ahead. The cons to this is that you're not pressuring side lanes, and so there's a risk this doesn't work. but they're going for
They're
it.
going straight for this one. Liv is the one that leads the charge right now. Bullet time there. Bass is just deleting Guncrad. The turrets are still standing strong. Are they acting as the sixth member? Of course they're not. Elder and Baron are just too much for them to deal with. Every member of Mammoth survives. Bass does go down in the end. And now it's Draku and a Dream. He's on the fountain steps, but he won't survive. And Mammoth pick up their second win of the split.
A 34-minute victory for them here, and it does seem like Mboma and ML have been the secret recipe. But at the same time, the rest of the team have really started to pull it together individually. You know, Lived, big showing on the Echo, finds some brilliant moments. Kweku the same, and Bass was the one engaging all game. Mammoth, even if they were 2,000 gold behind, weren't out of the game by any means, and suddenly they're winning. AV, no way back in.
And it just feels like, you know, as you highlight, a new schedule, a new routine, some new faces, and perhaps a new environment, a new dynamic amongst the squad of 5 members. They're smiling, they're happy, and rightfully so. Very first few weeks were rather brutal for this roster, and they've brought it back. Definitely proving that hard work does pay off.
I dare say the run's back on.
The first step has taken place again. Maybe they went for a hop, skip, and a jump, but they've ended up on a second square. As Avant forced to concede defeat in this one. Unlucky for them, unable to really find their footing in this matchup. But let's send it back to the couch and the puppy for the breakdown of that game.
You're damn right the run's back on, Rusty. Mammoth go from the worst team in the OPL to not that bad.
So not that bad. In their last 3 games, they have beaten Gravitas as well as Avant Gaming, which catapults them up the not that bad power ranking to officially being not that bad.
They beat every not that bad team
They absolutely
that has been
did.
crowned so far, and we have a new not that bad champions. Very impressive from Mammoth, and particularly, you could tell halfway through the game, they smell blood, and they capitalized on nearly every opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that that's what the OPL is coming down to, like that decisive, aggressive moment where players are willing to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, right? And I think that Bass had a couple of them, I think Kweku had a couple of them, and then Lived on the Echo had like hundreds of him in that game. He was just playing like on the edge of like insanity, and it worked out very well for the Mammoth lineup.
Very well indeed. We've got Kweku here with us now. Mate, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good.
Yeah?
That was a great game. Lived, honestly, with
Popping off.
every time that he's like on these champions, that he is like, as you said, on the the knife's edge.
Yep.
That's the word I was looking for. He just makes you think, wait, is he trolling? Or is he, wait, no, it's actually working out really well.
And it worked out the entirety of that game. Talk to me about your matchup in particular, because Draku is known as like this Mordekaiser player, right? It is a good matchup into set, but you seem to have the measure of it a lot of that laning phase. It looked pretty good.
I feel like he was quite good on it. I don't think I'm as good on set as what some of my other players might be. But I feel like for most of that lane, I was keeping Draku in check and just neutralizing the lane while we won elsewhere.
And now talk to me about the big team fight moments, because you guys had a couple of back-to-back dragons where you just absolutely were able to take over. You lived with the big tackle over the wall onto Lisa. Those team fight moments really do bring a team together. And how did it feel during the game?
Oh, it felt great. I felt like a linebacker protecting my mid lane.
Just an IRL bodyguard. And I mentioned to my players beforehand that Mboma and Amel seem to have kind of transformed the dynamic of this team.
Definitely.
That they look a lot more aggressive. I mean, even behind the scenes, we said that you guys were a lot more aggressive. So what is it about your new duo lane? How are they fitting in?
I'm pretty sure that it is Matthew, so that's Mboma. He's taken the team in a really good direction. He's given us more things to focus on, even just after any scrim or any game. And like Amel he's quiet, but he's a really good supporting force. Like you can always count on him in a team fight. You're always comfortable with whatever he wants to play. I think that it's like they've just really rounded out the roster.
So they're stepping into a leadership position with you guys in some way?
Yeah, they've taken on like pretty much what we've lost. They've picked up really well.
And that's really cool to hear, because people at home probably don't know, but when Ronan had all of his wrist injuries last year, and Mboma was scrimming 4 times a day with Order for the entirety of Split 2. So certainly a super talented kid, and it's really nice to see him having big games.
Yeah, super talented indeed.
I don't know if you know, we've nicknamed you Maui on the show.
That one actually makes a lot of sense.
It does. Well, technically, I think we nicknamed you Moana, and then we had to point out that was
one less sense.
Yeah. But we sort of flipped between the two. But welcome to the couch. Thank you very much for coming and having a chat. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
It must feel great for the second one for the split. Onwards and upwards.
Yeah, onwards and upwards. And if I can just say one thing.
Please.
My name is actually Kwaku. Okay?
Kwaku.
Kwaku.
It is
Okay.
Kwaku.
We've been saying Kwaku.
Yes.
We have been.
It's my
Kwaku.
middle name.
It's
the name that my parents gave me. It's Kwaku.
That's all right.
fine.
We'll get it right from now on.
We
Okay.
will.
Apologies.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Moana, for coming here. And we will see you after this short break.
Trouble right now. He's going to get suppressed to start things off with. Instantly into the death room to buy himself some time. Can the team help him? Can the team come in? He's running to the outskirts. He needs his team to try and live. But he's just going to get clapped as Appy jumps in. It's a double kill for Kwaku. The bullet time is the use of that one. Once again, the cast is split members apart and Boma finds one. It's a trade so far, but Sek gets amongst it. Both the carries of Avant are bleeding and they are dead. Now Appy, the next target in their eyes. Mammoth see blood. What is the decision making? It's talking about bullet time. Death Realm on cooldown. They can't do anything. They can't remove Bass. But they can't remove their chances of winning this game because Mammoth have Soul Point online and they are getting kills. So the turrets are still standing strong. Are they acting as the sixth member? Of course they're not. Elder and Baron are just too much for them to deal with. Every member of Mammoth survives. Bass does go down in the end. And now it's Draku and a Dream. He's on the fountain steps, but he won't survive. And Mammoth pick up their second win of the split.
That's how you want to play it.
Feeling the heat? Grab a pineapple or pineberry frozen Fanta mix at Macca's. With 36 flavours, it's the largest range in Australia. Grab one for only $1. A little goes a long way at Macca's.